morning is Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8, 1 through 8. Please look and turn in your Bibles and join me as we read the Lord's words. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord, high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him were seraphim, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces. With 2 they covered their feet. And with 2 they were flying. And they were calling to one another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory. At the sound of their voices, the doorpost and the threshold shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. Woe to me, I cried, I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among the people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. With it he touched my mouth and said, See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away, and your sin atoned for. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, Here am I, send me. This is the word of God for the people of God, and all God's people said, Thanks be to God. It is my pleasure to introduce to you this morning Miss Gayla Kidd, the Director of Huntsville Assistance Program.
Thank you. I generally don't stand behind the podium, and I won't do that this morning because I'm very tall, as you can see, and sometimes you can't see me over there. I tell people I was not called to pastor because I can't see over the podium, but I was called to be a minister, as we all were. And I want to, before I start, tell you, I'm out in the field many, many times during the week. I meet lots of preachers. I don't meet many pastors, but you all have a pastor. He loves you and he loves this church. And I get very emotional when I speak, so we just carry on. I have to tell you a little bit about myself before I tell you about Huntsville Assistance Program, because you have to know where I came from and why I'm so often asked, where does all this passion come from? And you have to know some of the things that I know before you understand. Well, I do this with such great passion and energy, and I never get tired. I keep going like the ever-ready bunny. I was born here in Alabama, in Winston County, to a very strong Christian family, raised Christian. We moved to Florida when I was quite young. My family was in the dairy business. Graduated from school there. Went off to college. My first choice was to be an actor. My father put that fire out very quickly. So I decided I would do interior design, and that has been my chosen profession. And finally owned my own business, did a lot of model homes for builders and contractors. When the time came that I thought I needed to return to Sweet Home, Alabama, I chose Huntsville because I had a lot of relatives in Huntsville. I came up here, and that was in 1983, and at that time, people that were doing my type of work were still getting their wives would pick out the paint for them, or the lady at the paint store, and so I had difficulty finding any kind of work at that time. So I took little small jobs, and I did a lot of volunteering. I did a lot of volunteering at the hospital, and I did a tremendous amount of volunteering for Hope Place. At that time it was called Hope Place. And came to find out that we are too late. We were too late getting in. If we could get in on the domestic violence issues right from the beginning, then there was the possibility that we could get people to come out. But once it became a way of life to them and to their children, it was very difficult to get people to come out. So I studied on this. I had, at this time, become the Alabama representative to the national and international conferences. Talked to other people who were working in this field, and I said, I think I can work up a program. And so I did. Took it to the chief of police over in Huntsville, Chief Owens at that time. I said, I would like to try this. He said, I'd give you a go. So a grant was found, and I developed a program and trained police officers and advocates to go in at the same time. And they heard about it in other places throughout the United States, and I went and set up programs, and they're still running. One still runs in Huntsville. They still have one here in Madison, and it has been quite a great success in getting advocates in there to let people know you're not walking this alone. So when I had gone as far as I thought I could do with that, someone approached me and said, they've just started a new agency. 7 churches in the southeast of Huntsville came together, and they are tired of one person going from church to church and asking for help, and they feel that they have got to unite. And they have written some bylaws, but they don't have a director. And we wondered if you would be interested in being the director. I said, well, that sounds like that might be kind of interesting. Not knowing it would become a complete consumption of money. And so I took that on. And the first thing I said is, why would we limit it to the south of Huntsville, where that is primarily where most of your influence, your financial influence is. And then I said, let's open it up to all of Madison County. So we are all of Madison County. We have grown from 7 churches to 70 churches. We have grown from 1 location to 3 locations. Now I have 3 offices, the one on Monroe Street, opened one up in Tony about 8 years ago. 2 weeks ago, I opened one here in Madison. And we are so thrilled to be in the Madison area. Now I have to tell you what we do at Huntsville Assistance Program. We address the 4 main entities in anyone's life. We feed your body, because every place that we have an office, we have a large food pantry. So we can feed your body. Number 2, we help you financially. We may pay all or part of a rent, utility, or mortgage. I'm doing several mortgages right now for people that have owned their homes, hit hard times, and don't want to lose their homes. Everybody hits a bump in the road every once in a while. So we help you in that way. Sometimes we send you for free financial counseling, because this is what you have. You don't experience here what we expect. It's a whole new world up in the north part of Madison County. If you have not spent much time in Tony and Hazel Green and that area, low education, high drug use, lots of domestic violence. It's a different world. So each place that we are, we have to address what is of main importance in that area. We help you emotionally because we may be the only people that have ever truly listened to you. I've had more than one person that has revealed that as a small child, they were sexually abused and had never told anyone. But they know they're in a safe place with us. And we've got to address that. We've got to address that dirty rag before we can move forward. And we can send you for free counseling that addresses whatever is holding you back in your life. And we mostly, and most importantly, we are a Christian organization. So we address your Christian side. You know, nobody leaves without being asked, do you have a church family? This is where you live. There are churches all around where you live. I want you to visit. We never expound on the denomination. We expound on the need for you to be in the church family. And you will know when you're in the right place. You will get and you know this is where your soul is going to best be fed. You know, we're not all fed by the same church. So I want you to visit all those churches until you get that, this is where I belong. This is my family. We bring Mary Smith, she's not here I hope, into the office by promising a can of green beans or a box of potatoes, and we're going to pay a bill. But our main focus, it is, it always will be, and it must be, is on the mission. Our mission is to help as many people as we can. Everyone, and when I'm interviewing, and particularly when I'm interviewing young people, you know, I talk to them about mission. Everybody, and I want to say very often, you were not sent here to occupy space. We all have a mission. And if you don't know what your mission is, and I don't know what it is, I know what mine is. But yours may be to bring one person to Christ. It may be to influence one life in a positive way. I don't know. But you never have a complete life until you know what your God-sent mission is. Because we're not just here to have another baby or another stud or stay at home watching television or whatever. We've got to be out among them. We've got to be finding out what is needed in this community. And I tell people, I'm a nosy busybody. I'm out there, tell me what you think we need in this community, and I'll work with you to get it done. Because we are to leave it better than it was when we got here. So when we're interviewing, I have I love everybody. I don't have to like everybody, but I do love everybody. And everybody that comes in, I've never met anyone that did not need a hug, and God bless you, and we love you, and God loves you. But that doesn't mean I allow everybody to come in. I'm very strict about how you cannot come in your pajamas. I send you home. You come in your pajamas, you got to go home. You've got to respect you, not just respect us, but you've got to respect yourself. You don't come out in your pajamas to come to a business meeting, so you don't come in with your pants hanging down below. And I've had them get a little huffy. Then you have to leave. You cannot come in drinking. We're part of God's house. I was telling them this recently. I had a gentleman that came in, and there was two males standing up there, 2 or 3 females, and I could hear it was getting a little loud. I went to the front, we seemed to have a problem. And it was a very large fellow. He said, "We ain't got any problem, you just won't do what I tell you." I said, "Nobody here's been disrespectful to you. You're not going to be disrespectful. You're going to have to leave." "Well, who's going to make me?" I said, "I am." And he kind of looked me up. I said, "You don't want to test me?" And I'm hoping you won't. And so I moved to the door and I said, "Will you make it easy or will you make it hard? But you're going to leave." And so he had a few choice words and he left. But we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. You know, we're God's people. We're to be the emissaries. We're to be watchful and see. If we just weren't given free will, things would have been a lot easier, wouldn't they? You know, but we are here, we're allowed to make choices. And they're not always the best choices. But those are the choices that we're responsible for. I one time had one of my male interviewers, and things are not always just, you know, I never know what God's going to put in my mind to come out my mouth. And I always pray. I pray hard before I get up to speak. Please put in my mind what you want me to say. But we were interviewing one day, one of my male interviewers, and he said, "Please come sit with me." And I did. And he was going through and said, "Now this is, I see, you two have been a man and a woman, older. You've been together quite a long time." The man said, "Yes, 15 years. He said, "Well, I noticed you have 2 different last names." "Well, common law." And before I could stop myself, God said, one thing I never wanted to be was common. So from here on, I want you to look at her and tell her you're common. And you look at him and tell him you're common. And then you decide, do you really want to be joined to someone who's common? That was all that was said. 2 weeks later, he came back and said, "We've never thought about it before, but we now have a marriage license. We are going to get married." So you don't know what influence you have in a small way. I had some gentlemen come in. I was there by myself. Thought one was coming in, and 3 came in. And I said, "How can I help you guys?" we're here for food. I said, well, everybody have a seat. Now see what we've got. And I went and buy one, and I said, I think you've been drinking. Nobody said anything. I said, you can't be in here. And he sat there and he said, stood up, all his fists up, all my fists up. Sometimes I think I'm 5'10". And so he relaxed and left. And next week he came back and he was clean and sober, and he said, I may not be this way every time, but I want you to know that it meant a lot that you cared enough to say something to me about it. So I think that we have become less bold. We've become more saturated with be careful, you don't want to offend. How many of you, I'm sure you all, when you eat in a restaurant, that you pray? But do you ask the server to pray with you? I've only been turned down one time. I had one woman, when I asked her, would you like us to pray, she fell on her knees. And she said, how did you know I needed that? I said, I did not, but God sent me his emissary. I think we need to be bold. We don't have to be obnoxious. We don't have to be so forward. But we have to be bold in our belief. That's what I feel God wants us to be, to stand up and be proud that we have seen the light, that we are now Christians. We're here to bring others. And I told you I have a mission, but right now, this is my mission. But I have a purpose. My purpose can change from time to time. Right now, my purpose is to bring one person, one doctor that I'm working with. I'm going to bring him in. Every time I say, I'm still praying for you, he smiles and he says, well, hadn't worked yet, but maybe it will. I said, your family's all Christian. You don't want to get there and you can't get in. So we've got to work on this. I am praying for you. So your purpose, I don't know what each individual, only you know if you have fulfilled the purpose. I had a gentleman that volunteers with me over here in Madison. His wife died suddenly. He said we'd been married 40 years. And I just didn't think I could go on. And he said it finally came to me. She had completed her mission. And God took her home. He said, I want to complete my mission so I can join her there. So we all have a mission that has been given solely to us. And I think that we forget that if you in any way have forgotten your mission, if you've laid it aside, God's still waiting for us to complete it. I'm not through yet. I know that, I didn't get my mission until I was 60 years old. So you never know, it can be given to you early, but he didn't think I knew enough until I got to an advanced age before my mission was revealed to me. But once it was, then I never put it down. I've increased on it and loved it every day. And again, thank you so much for letting me be here. I have enjoyed coming to your church. I came and spent over an hour here one day with Track. He took me through, he showed me every inch of this building with great pride, great hope, and you're very blessed. And I thank you.